from a company called Under the Influence. Today we're working with WOSA, Wines of South Africa, and what we're doing is we're just trying to show how South African wines can essentially be marketed and promoted around in this beautiful continent. We're going to be focusing on certain industries and certain regions in South Africa, and a couple of different regions around where you can find grapes grown in the country as well.
I'm Joseph Ngugichega. I work at Radisson Lounge. We'll be exploring more about South African wines. That's a very good knowledge for us. It will gather more knowledge for me to go back and initiate knowledge to my junior staff.
We'll give you a broad understanding of what the South African wine industry is. You look at the grape, this is basically a tiny, tiny little fruit. Try to peel the skin of the grape off and just taste that skin on its own. What does that taste like? It's a little bit bitter, sour, eh? This adds all the flavor and the character to the wine. Then the majority of the grape is this little green bit on the inside, eh? That's very sweet. It's nice, also got a little bit of a sourness to it, eh? So you got your acidity and your sugar inside the grape. Where does all the color come from? The skins, exactly. If I want it to be a very dark, more powerful, full-bodied style of wine, I take those skins and I leave it in the actual juice for a very long time. Balance in wine is very important, because when I leave the skins in contact with the juice, we very often elevating the amount of tannin in the wine. And tannin comes from the skins, which we tasted, and the pips and the stalks. So if we've got too much of that, we get a bitter wine. We get a wine that isn't nice and fruity and easily drinkable. This is essentially what we want in wine. We want it to be nice. If I leave the grape on the vines for a very long time, what's happening is it's getting a lot of sun contact. Okay. With more sun contact, what happens? We get more sugar. With less sun contact, we get less sugar or more acidity. When we're growing wine in a cool, or anything, any fruit in a cool area, a cool climate, what happens is it's quite difficult to actually promote and get sugar coming out of the actual fruit. So we need to leave it in the sun for a lot longer, because if we pick the grape too early or the fruit too early, we've got too much acid in the wine. Hey, what is the defining characteristic about Sauvignon Blanc? It's very acidic. It's got a beautiful amount of acidity. So, and where are the best places in the world to grow Sauvignon Blanc? Extremely cold, lots of rain, there's a lot of natural irrigation. So what you want is a lot of juice, which is promoted by the amount of rain, and you want acidity, so you don't have too much sugar. So you grow a good grape, what you essentially do is you squeeze it, you ferment it, and you just leave it alone. You don't have, it's quite easy to make a very good Sauvignon Blanc. We press the grape and we try to extract all the juice from it. Then what we do is we put it in contact with the skins. Some guys like to ferment grapes 100% naturally. You're going to get a lot of producers that do not believe in adding yeast to their wine, okay? Alolactic fermentation, it's a secondary fermentation of the acids, okay? So, what did I say? The two components of wine, you've got your sugar and you've got your acid. So now we're on the sugar side, we're fermenting the sugars. Later we're going to ferment the actual acids, okay? So now when we're fermenting the sugar, we're essentially creating alcohol. If I take pineapple, if I take a peach, if I take sugarcane, anything, and I leave it in the sun for long enough, or if I leave it, it doesn't have to be in the sun, in a little dark room, naturally after a while it starts fermenting, okay? If you add anything that has a kind of yeast structure, it's going to start fermenting and it creates alcohol. The highest that a wine can ferment to, or any kind of a fruit can ferment to, is 18%, so 1/8. Okay, why do South African wines essentially have higher alcohol levels than, let's say, of New Zealand or let's say of France? Because the sugar's higher, exactly. So when you've got higher sugar levels, you've got higher alcohol content levels. Okay, Acidity, it's an important part of the wine, as it's especially in white wine. If you don't have enough acidity, the wine tastes flabby. Your finish, this describes the taste remaining in your mouth after drinking a wine. Okay, so a big heavy wine will be rich and full-bodied, and the taste will actually stay in your mouth for long. But when you taste something like a Pinot Noir or a Rosé, you don't expect the flavor to last in your palate long. So if you've got to understand it's not going to have a longer finish, but it doesn't mean that the finish is bad. What are some off odors? So basically, it's when you get a wine that's had any kind of exposure to oxygen. When it's left in the bottle and you get any kind of exposure to oxygen, it rots the wine. It forms more fermentation in the bottle, and the wine will essentially go off. When we do our scoring of the wines, we're going to have to look for your visuals, the aroma of the wine, the taste, balance, and the finish. When you look at the color of wine, hold it in front of your table like this. So you can first of all look at it in front of a light, and you can see now it's kind of a darker color, or whatever color you can see. It's pretty much the darkest that the color will be is when you look from the back like this. Then you look at it down on top of a table. Now, what color do you guys see out of this? It's almost like a platinum, very light, almost platinum kind of a color. There's no particles or anything floating around in it. Smell of the wine. What I must show you guys quickly is every single person over here has either got a stronger right side of your nose, or your left side is going to be stronger. Have a stir of the wine. If everyone can do this, you just basically get a small rotation and stir the wine. We always hold the wine at the stem of the glass as well. Don't hold it at the top because it heats the wine up. And if you can't stir it easily, what you do is you just put it on a table and you just do small little circles on the table until you get the right movement, or just do it on the table as well. And what that does is it releases the air. It gets it into contact with with oxygen. Close your eyes and smell your wine and try to pick up certain flavors that you guys can maybe identify with. From left side of the nostril to the other side, you'll see you'll actually pick up different flavors on each nostril. Do you guys get some lemon flavors, or what are you picking up? Lemon, more citric flavor, This is what we said, we wanted citrus inside this wine. Take a sip, but hold the wine in your mouth and close your eyes, okay? Everyone, just close your eyes and just for 10 seconds, just have the wine inside your mouth and just see what it does to your mouth. There's a lot of saliva in your mouth now. And what's happening? This is why it's a good aperitif, or to have before a meal. This has got a lot of acidity in it. It's got quite a long finish, doesn't it? Chenin Blanc, as we said, this is the most versatile between Sauvignon Blanc and Chardonnay. Color-wise, compared to the Sauvignon Blanc, what do we find? More color on this, Fantastic. So, a little bit more of a richer, more of a golden color, Close your eyes and smell it. Compared with the Sauvignon Blanc, if you haven't finished it, this is far, mine's also gone, far more fruity, What tropical fruits, almost like a guava kind of a flavor. Any other specifics that you guys get? Pear, fantastic, exactly. Once again, have the taste, close your eyes and see what actually happens with the wine inside your palate. Slur it around in your palate. Get it to all the different areas on your tongue. Take it to the back, front. And see, this is a little bit sweeter than the last one, Once again, we need to find balance, okay? So, when you're pairing a very light style, Sauvignon Blanc is the lightest wine, you pair it with a light food. What's the lightest food that we get? Salads. So pair it with a salad, okay? Heaviest food is a steak or beef stew or oxtail or something, and you pair that with a heavier style, so your Cabernet. So find the wines in between there, and that's slowly your progression, your natural progression of wine to food pairing. So what varietal is this next one? Chardonnay. Smell it, taste it, and let me know. What do you pick up with this? It's a lightly oaked wine, so it's got those vanilla, more those buttery flavors coming out, This is what a wooded Chardonnay tastes like. Smell, hair comes through, hey. Papaya, good, yeah. Rounded flavor, and it kind of tones down the amount of tannins inside of it. What food would you pair with this? Okay, so this is a blended wine, a blend between Shiraz, Merlot, Cab Franc, Grenache, and have a smell of this wine and immediately you'll see it's far more fruity. It's a very berry style of wine, this. Candy floss kind of a smell as well. That dark chocolate once again. Who said spicy? Very good. That's from the Shiraz that you picked up. You're going to be getting a lovely amount of red berries and blackberry flavors coming out of this. And this will essentially go really well with your bigger styles of wine. Okay? Of food, excuse me. Tolima, they kind of cross it. They use a lot of French, they kind of get barrels from all over the show. I'm not 100% sure the amount of specific time that they've spent on the barrels for each wines. Yeah, I can imagine it's not going to be less than 9 months, any of them. They're not heavily oaked wines either. So it's still, they're pretty standard and quite light styles. About the quality, yeah, it's not great quality, I'll be honest. It's not. They get lots of grapes in, they just press it, it's easy. They make it very quickly. It's not good quality wine. That's why I drink a lot of it, and what happens? You get that like a headache the next day, huh? Drink good quality wines and it kind of helps out in that factor. We're done with the tasting, so I just want to hear quickly you guys can all tally up your scores and see which wine comes off the highest, and tell me which wine from each table does the best, or which one's the top wine. Vondeling Chardonnay. The back. Chardonnay. The blend. Merlot is the highest rated out of the wines.
Wycliffe, also from GRVL. Yes, Charles Monkey King.
Wine of South Africa is hosting this event for the second time. This is our second installment, and our purpose and function of being here is, as the Her Excellency mentioned, is to strengthen the relationship with Kenya, but above all, create opportunities for all our producers.
If you're going to call our office, we'll give you this discounted rate. You only need to say you got the information from the wines of South Africa and you're going to get very discounted rate just for you.
My name is Madhvi Upperhill. I'm representing KWV in Kenya under Slater & Whittaker. KWV has been established since 1918. It is one of the largest cooperative in South Africa, and they are the largest producers of wines and spirits. Today we're representing 6 different brands under KWV, and they're going to be ranging from the entry level to the most expensive. So we have, for example, Pearly Bay, which is on the entry level. Then we have the KWV Classic range, which is the mid-entry, and then we have the Labori and the Mentos.
The Secret Vineyards is a wine brand which is owned by BSG company. We started with 3 brands, as you can see. We have the Sauvignon Blanc, we have the Rosé, and we have the Merlot. The Sauvignon Blanc is 13.5%, yeah, and is 100% Sauvignon Blanc. And then the Rosé is a blend of Sauvignon Blanc and Cabernet Franc. So 90% Sauvignon Blanc, 10% Cabernet Franc, and it's 13.5% alcohol content. And then we have the Merlot, 100% Merlot, which is 14.5%.
That's all I can use this.
Main goal of Backsburg is to create wines that are pleasurable to drink, that give people joy. So every single bottle of Backsburg must be an absolute pleasure to drink.
French oak bottle, then the wine actually takes all the factors of the wood. That's why you have that aftertaste.
We're here today at this WOSA show in Nairobi to represent one of our most prestigious brands. It's called Boschendal, and it's the second oldest wine estate in South Africa. It started in 1685 by French Huguenots. So it's certainly a very prestigious estate, and we're very proud of it. And we're here tonight to make sure the Kenyans enjoy our brand and get to taste our wine. We've got two ranges from the Boschendal brand today. The first is the Pavilion range. We've got a Rosé, we've got a Cab Shiraz blend, and also a Chenin Sauvignon Blanc blend to try. They're very accessible, easy drinking wine. We've also got a premium offering which is called the 1685 range, which is the year that this estate was founded.
The kids always stand there like, oh, mommy, mommy. So we try to cover the whole audience. And now in your future, we're going to try to do more.
An event like today exposes people to more than what's in the market, because we have just, South African wine estates that are not already here coming to look for opportunities as well.
One thing that is common is that you've got middle class that is emerging. When there is extra money from the middle class, they start being selective on what they eat and what they drink. So others, because of health reason, and the more they understand the benefits on wine, they move from whiskey to wine. And when they are enjoying themselves with their families over a bottle of wine, it creates that bond between the families. Wine is something that is being recommended by different doctors, and of course, only
would be your typical challenges that many exporters are faced going into the market. Trade issues, trade barrier issues would be along the duties and non-tariff barriers, meaning the duties that we paid. If there could be a way in which to drive the agenda of intra-trade within the continent, we can reduce the duties, number one. But number two, access to market, meaning harmonized systems with customs, is but also one of the key things that needs to be looked into. But these are things that are work in progress and should be looked into to make sure that the good product that we have to offer the Kenyans get to be brought in with ease into the market.